Share my screen. Okay, so this is an application view inside of the Prism portal. I didn't show the first part, but the user logs in. There's two-step authentication in order to get into the application. And basically, what I'm going to do here is upload an extract of claims data. It looks something like this. So you have some de-identified member ID, age and sex, demographic information, and then a collection of billing codes. There's additional columns that we offer if customers provide it around cost. So say allowed amounts, service category level amounts. And what I'm going to do here is build a prediction, and I'm going to upload if I can find it, here we go. This exact data template. All that's happening is behind the scenes, we're just validating the data and making sure that you have the right columns and there's no improperly formatted ICD codes and standard junk data that you can sometimes find from claims data sources. And what it's going to do is it's going to estimate disease probabilities for 150 different diseases. So I click run predictions, and what happens is that under the hood, there's one single model that's estimating risk for 140 different high-cost diseases like ulcerative colitis, congestive heart failure, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, and so on. And while this is running, I just want to contrast the data input that we have here. This is what we're asking for now, or this is what we will be asking for. What we currently ask for with our machine learning models is this. It's it's a lot of data, right? It's like hundreds of columns worth of data. And so there's just a lot of lift required on the front end in order to, one, technically obtain that data for our customers to be able to find an IT resource or someone internally to pull the data. It might be across different source systems. There might be some data cleaning and anonymization needed since there's many points of possible exposure. And then on that end, getting IT to approve relinquishing that data just takes a lot of time. So we think this is much simpler with comparable predictive performance and superior runtime. I think it's about 8 times more efficient to have one single very high-powered model estimating these risks than to have 140 different high-powered machine learning models do the risks. Sorry, my dog is trying to jump on the table right now. I don't know why she's doing this. She drank half of my coffee yesterday when I blinked, went to the other room, so I'm just keeping an eye on her. Okay. Oh, I know these guys are.
At least it wasn't a mocha. Then you would really
be
in trouble.
I just realized something. These guys are running load tests on the application right now, so they're actually pressure testing it. So it might take a second. But essentially, what you'll see is predictions for 140 different diseases per member. In the next version, starting next week or in the next couple of weeks, we'll have cost over different time periods. It'll be cost for the next year, cost per quarter for the next 4 quarters, cost per month. And what we're trying to do is then reconcile all of this information and start creating sort of interpretations to be able to say concrete things for end users to be able to use, right? It's one thing to say that Joe Smith will cost $100,000 next year. It's another thing to say he'll cost $90K in the first 6 months of next year and $10K in the subsequent 6 months. Yet another thing to say he's going to have a heart attack in March. He's going to be admitted to the hospital and have to have a cabbage surgery done on him, which will cost $30,000. He'll be discharged and prescribed an ACE-ARB, which will interact with one of his other drugs and cause a readmission in May, which will cost $60,000. We're trying to get closer and closer to be able to tell you what does the future of this data set look like? Because there's a lot of applications and processes that are built off of this system of record. And so that's sort of the goal of doing this. So as you can see here, as I mentioned, you have the same information that you had before, but now you have information around different disease risks and the associated probabilities. So this is the first pass of the application. I'm going to pause here for a second. Do you have any questions so far?